Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here, coming to you from downtown Los Angeles. And directly in front of me is a pop-up museum that is traveling around the globe. And it is currently here in LA for a short time. In fact, about a week or so ago, they were going to close their temporary closure date. They have extended it, giving myself and the carpetbagger the ability to check it out. So we're gonna go inside and see what's happening. The hashtag and slogan, you can see it there at the bottom, come fail with us. And to gain entry, you have to make your way up this ramp located inside the A&D Museum, which is short for Architecture and Design. There it is, extended until February 18th. 2018, so still open for a short while. Starting in Sweden, Dr. Samuel West, who is fascinated by invention and the seemingly binary relationship with failure, wanted to put something together and show that not only failures are a negative thing, but a positive thing. And that will be the premise of our adventure. The first item we come to is the Edsel, not considered a sparkling success by car manufacturers, but by today's standards, a classic. And every time I think of the movie Peggy Sue Got Married, I think of this car. An example of what I was mentioning a moment ago, Henry Ford stated, "It's the opportunity to begin again, only this time more wisely. Giving up on your goal because of one setback is like slashing your other 3 tires because you got a flat." That's words to live by. And I wonder if the person who created the plastic bicycle, if they took that to heart. Seriously, that's made of plastic. A section has been designated as the confessional, and you can write what you feel was something that was considered a failure. This person, 1998 Godzilla movie featuring Ferris Bueller. It's true, Matthew Broderick was in that film. Around the same time as the VHS generation, there was a comparable cassette tape known as the Betamax, and VHS did win out over Beta until DVDs and Blu-rays came along. But I remember having a few items that would fit in a Betamax player. One of them was a movie starring this bad boy. And the DeLorean was a failed motor vehicle, and most people now remember it from the film Back to the Future. Dun 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 dun. So not a pop culture failure, but on the assembly line, not a success. Of course, we all know the Oreo company, those delicious cookies that you dip in milk. But there hasn't always been one flavor exactly. In fact, they dabbled around with peanut butter, cinnamon buns, even red velvet, and the letter in front signifies what happened. Dun dun dun. Fail. Some people might not realize that Jim Nabors, who played Gomer Pyle, was quite an eloquent singer. He had a great voice. But what is even more fascinating is what's next to his vinyl LP, the Soundburger, a portable record player. I wonder how difficult it was to replace the needles on that thing. For a few decades, these candies were on the market. AIDS, AIDS. And of course, a lot of that changed in the 1980s when the epidemic swept the nation, and that name was no longer synonymous with tasty treats. What have we here? Oh yes. Oh yes. I love the Power Glove. It's so bad. Here's a couple interesting items when it comes to food. Colgate made a beef lasagna. I wonder if that fought tooth decay. Possibly. And teach your kids to eat right. OJ's Tastes just like oranges. Created to be a competition for Barbie, Little Miss No Name was put out on the shelves. Little did anyone realize how creepy it was going to be to own one of these and to stare deeply into its eyes as you tried to doze off. No sweet dreams for you. This is Skipper. The peculiar thing about this item is that you would take her arm, and as you rotated it, she would grow. Her body, her upper torso would mature. It would mature rapidly, and then you would twist the arm back and she would go back to being a younger female. While we're on the subject of technology to play movies, the Laserdisc came out around the same time as the VHS. They were supposed to take over how VHS were so popular. The Laserdisc were going to be the wave of the future. I recently watched one of these items, and the quality on a Laserdisc isn't much better than a VHS. Definitely not DVD or Blu-ray quality, but it was cool. It was like a record, but it played movies. At this point in time, we all have heard of IKEA. They sell some very hip furniture, but there was an era where they sold recliners, love seat couches made out of air. This is air. This is basically just like an air mattress, but when you look at it from a distance, it looks like a regular piece of furniture until you sit inside and you think, what the heck just happened? I think video stores in general could fall into any display in this museum, but they have chosen Blockbuster, which pretty much was one of the biggest ones. It is nearly impossible to find an open franchise Blockbuster currently. There might be one or two, but most of them have been converted, the storefronts and facades, into other businesses. This next one's a real weird one. This bite you see in this fat-free chocolate cake was not from a human, but from an imaginary character. Hostess had this brainstormed idea to sell fat-free, tiny chocolate cakes, and they thought the only selling point would to make it as if they were so popular that people were already eating them. So that's how it looked when you opened the box. This did not go over too well and quickly was discontinued. This taught us that when you eat ketchup, you want it to be the traditional red color. If you try to do purple or blue or green, they will not sell. This was fairly recent enough for me to even remember it vividly, thinking, I don't know if I want to dip my fries in purple ketchup. I've always had an infatuation with New Coke. The backstory on this is Coca-Cola Classic that we know and love today didn't always have the word classic at the end, because in 1985 they created this concoction and slated it New Coke. Immediately the public rejected it, rebuked it. They wanted it as far away from their mouths as possible. And it took the company, the Coke company, a couple years to rejuvenate the general consensus that Coca-Cola was a beautiful and tasty thing, and New Coke is now a thing of the past. I wish they still made this just so I could do a taste test, because I want to remember how bad it really was. Back in 2011, the Bic company, which is best known for razors, cigarette lighters, and ballpoint pens, designed one specifically for females, the Bic for her, and this states that some of the reviews on Amazon are funnier than anything they can come up with. One reviewer wrote, "These pens make me feel so feminine and desirable I can barely keep the men away. My husband has started to take fencing lessons just to keep the men away." Remember these Lifesavers holes? You could eat the inside. It's like donut holes, but the Lifesaver version. It makes sense, but it just really didn't take off. Unofficially, they were pretty much Tic Tacs. There it is. Trump the Game, which was basically just a version of Monopoly. Came out in the late 80s, didn't do well, and then he re-released it in 2004 when The Apprentice became a hit. The game, however, was not a hit. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. I'll just leave this one here. It's called A Shared Girlfriend, created by someone in the adult industry, and you rent. I'll just let you read it. You can just read what The Shared Girlfriend. Yeah, that's just weird. Looking over some of the other things people have written down through here. Oh, that's not good. But I'm noticing this one. Dating Logan Paul. Fixing a lamp when I was 7 years old and flipping on the switch to test it out. Got shocked. Breaking up with my ex-fiance. Dyeing my hair at the park, spun out. Smashing in my helmet. This was not written by Kylo Ren. If you look closely, this item called the groove stick is basically one drumstick at the front, and then it splits off into two like a wishbone. I've always wanted to be a drummer, so if I pick that up and split it in two, my wish might come true, and I could actually have, I could play the drums. That's what I need. I need the groove stick. Are you even comprehending what that is? Because I'm having a hard time figuring that out.
I don't know why you would want your drumsticks to be connected together.
Come on, man, it's cool. Come on, it's cool. Just accept it. Wonder how much that cost. Wonder how much it was when it came out. What was the price on it, you think?
And check on eBay.
Listed on Time Magazine's 50 Worst Inventions of All Time, the hula chair. While you were sitting here, either at work or watching TV, this would work on your abs. You could have a workout by doing nothing. Sitting here, you would have a six-pack in your abs in no time. Honestly, I don't know why that didn't work. 'Cause I'd pay a couple bucks for that. I'd sit in that thing. I could use a little toning. I could use a little toning down there. One thing's for sure, people are in here as a business model. This museum is kind of successful. Nearly 2 years after the Kindle e-reader came out, Barnes & Noble decided to release their own that was slightly better. It was waterproof where the other one wasn't. But after 2 years of the general population getting used to the Kindle, Barnes & Noble took a massive loss. Hundreds of millions of dollars, and a lot of these just sitting on shelves and in back rooms. Whap, 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 whap. All in all, this is a pretty cool place. Size-wise, it's just one big room. Not a huge multi-level experience, but worth checking out. $15 is the admission price to check out the Museum of Failure, at least for a very, very limited time, because soon this place will be erased from existence. This person's regret is they had an internship and they weren't able to go and have an audition that could have gotten them a role on Breaking Bad. That's one that could be a regret as well. There are a lot. People are just pouring out their heart and soul here on this wall. That's gonna do it from downtown Los Angeles. I think the best thing we can take away from this experience is, if you do not try, you will not fail, but you also might not succeed. To be successful at what your endeavors are, sometimes you fail. Not everyone has a 1,000% bat, 100%, 1,000. Not everyone has a perfect batting average. The Museum of Failure taught me, always go for your goals, even if they are not, if they don't come to fruition in a beneficial way. What did you learn?
Trying is the first step towards failure.
You heard it here. straight from the carpetbagger's mouth. Do not fail to hit the thumbs up, nor go watch the carpetbagger's channel, because he will have a very similar video. Let's just be honest, we filmed basically the same exact thing.
Also, do not fail to put your hand halfway in front of the camera while filming
it's
your
part
outro.
of my shtick. That's part of my shtick right there, the hand. Vlog over.